Good morning, my dear students. So, we are studying the chapter food production. I hope you have gone through the previous part of the chapter. This is a very easy one, and it may seem a bit boring, but it is not that boring. Okay, so it is a very easy one. So, we'll be covering the next part of the chapter. What is it? See, horticulture. What is horticulture? Do any one of you know what is horticulture? See, the branch of agriculture dealing with the practice of growing fruits, vegetables, and some ornamental plants is known as horticulture. What is ornamental plant? Ornamental plant means the plants which are used for decorative purposes, or the flowers which are used for decorative purposes. In India, vegetables such as ginger, onion, potato, brinjal, cauliflower, cabbage, and green chilies, fruits such as mango, apple, guava, banana, grapes, and pomegranates are, and ornamental plants such as carnation of roses, tuber rose, and orchids are grown. Floriculture, that is the large scale cultivation of flower, is an established industry. States like Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and Karnataka, along with Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram, Jharkhand, Assam, and Chhattisgarh, account for most of the flower export in India. Flowers such as marigold and sunflower are cultivated at a large scale in India. Now, cultivation of horticulture crops. Although growing of crops plants through seed is common practice in horticulture, some plants can be grown by the vegetative propagation. Now, vegetative propagation, what is this? You have already come across what is vegetative propagation, right? The common method for vegetative propagation employed for growing horticulture crops are cutting, grafting, and layering. You have learnt about these topics in chapter 2. Okay. Now, management of horticulture crops. Fruit crops grown on commercial productions are generally cultivated on vast areas of land in orchards. Managing orchards involves caring of these fruit plants, providing suitable location for their propagation, maintaining health of the plants by ensuring optimum soil conditions, protecting against pests, providing adequate water for irrigation, removal of weeds and other unwanted plants, and monitoring the growth of these plants. Drainage has to be ensured to prevent water logging. Spraying of pesticides and removing rotten or diseased plants is also essential to protect the plant from getting damaged. Okay, so these are the basic part or the basic things that we should maintain for doing horticulture. Fruits and perishable items. So the harvesting and post harvesting care and preservation of fruits crop is very important. Preservation maintains the food value of this fruit so that the loss are reduced between the harvester and the consumption. So what happens? See, we suppose we have grown up a particular apple. Now, if we do not preserve that apple, okay, after a certain period it will get rotten because it is biodegradable. Now, me as a consumer, what I am doing, I am going to a market and buying an apple. Now, this apple, if you see, it is not that I live in Kashmir that I just go and pluck an apple from the tree and eat that. Okay, so what happened? These apples comes from Himachal or from say Kashmir. Now it needs certain time for cultivating, for taking up from the plants, storing, transportation. It needs a proper time. Okay, now whenever I go to the market, I find fresh apple. How does it happen? It happens through the process of preservation. Without preservation, it would not have been possible. Okay. Now, organic farming. What is organic farming? Organic farming is the practice of cultivating crops without using any chemical fertilizer and pesticides. Growth hormones and generally modified seeds, that is GMO, okay, are also not. Okay, see. Growth hormones and genetically modified seeds are also not used for cultivation. Organic farming uses eco-friendly agricultural practices. These are follows. Okay, what are they? See, it would be 100% natural and organic, not any genetically modified seeds or any nutrients from other artificial nutrients. It will not use that. Okay, because it is organic. Now, we have also learned about organic colors. In Holi, we use that nowadays. Organic colors, that is harmful from chemicals. See, what are the two main part of organic farming? The first one is crop rotation and second one is green manuring. What is crop rotation? It is a practice of growing different crops in the same field to maintain the physical, chemical and biological condition of the soil. When legumes are used in crop rotation, the soil is enriched with the nutrients or nutritious compounds. So what we will do, we will suppose for a prolonged time we are like cultivating say rice in a particular part. Now we are cultivating a rice. Now rice say needs a particular nutrient A and B, suppose, okay. So what will happen, the soil have a limited quantity of A and B. After one crop cultivation, second one, third one, these A and B nutrients will get depleted from the soil. Now these need to again reconvert, or the soil needs again A and B. Now this needs a very long time. What we do is, suppose we cultivate rice. After the rice cultivation is done, we put a small leguminous cultivation in the soil. Now the A and B which has been depleted from the rice, it gets restored from the leguminous plants. After that we again go for rice. This rotation is known as crop rotation. Clear? Green manuring. Green manures are leguminous plants like sun hemp and cowpea grown for the increase of the organic matter content in the soil. It helps to improve the soil structure, decrease soil erosion and increase the water holding capacity of the soil. Now what is composting and vermicomposting? It is the decomposition of the organic waste such as fodder or other plant material by bacteria and fungi to produce a dark brown colored nutrient rich organic matter. This organic product is the humus which is used as a fertilizer by the farmer in the field. When earthworms are used to transfer organic waste into nutrient rich fertilizer, this process is known as vermicomposting. So in vermicomposting we use earthworms which converts the soil to a nutrient rich soil. Use of biopesticides and biofertilizers. Pesticides derives from the living organisms like plant, animal and bacteria to control the insect and the disease causing pathogens are called biopesticides. Bacillus thuringiensis is the most common microbial pesticides, while neem is a common biopesticide. Biofertilizers are organic fertilizers that ensure or enrich the soil by interaction of the microorganisms like rhizobium and azotobacter with plants. Nowadays people are becoming aware of the harmful effects of pesticides and excessive use of chemical fertilizers on the food product. Pesticides and insecticides are toxic chemical substances sprayed on the crops to kill the pest. These should completely be avoided, because see, if we are taking the example of apple, what happens, this apple, the surface of the apple, it contains this harmful chemical. So it is advisable that whenever we are taking a fruit from the market or we are buying a fruit, or other vegetables, we should need to wash it thoroughly and properly. Otherwise these harmful chemicals get intact in our body and it gets stored in the stomach, so it will definitely cause pain and problem in our body. DDT is one such example. When spread over a large stretch of land, they pose to threat to a host of other organisms and non-target plants. When we consume such plants, we ingest these chemicals which then harm our body. Moreover, the pest often acquire resistance against these pesticides after continuous use. Excessive use of fertilizers can also have an adverse effect on the physical, chemical and biological properties of the soil. Therefore, there is a need to substitute crops which are raised under organic farming. These crops should be grown without the use of chemical fertilizers or pesticides. Clear? Now the next part, that is Green Revolution. What is Green Revolution? Green Revolution was an initiative taken in the late 60s and early 70s to create a worldwide effort towards agriculture productivity by using modern agricultural technique. This movement encouraged the production of high yielding varieties of staple crops such as rice and wheat. It improved the irrigation method, the use of fertilizers and pesticides, as well as the management of crop field. It promotes the use of new and improved variety of seeds that ensure better variety, higher yield and disease-free crops. Punjab, Haryana and West Bengal are few of the states where crops yields improve significantly with respect to the agriculture produce during this time. Norman Borlaug, an American agronomist, is known as the father of Green Revolution. He held the initiative worldwide, for which he received the Nobel Prize in 1970s. In India, the renowned geneticist Ms. Swaminathan took the leading role of Green Revolution. His aim was to increase the production of high-yielding varieties of food grain to make India rich in agricultural resources and help the poor farmers getting higher yield. Okay. So, in the next class, we will be starting with the part of animal husbandry. Okay, this animal husbandry part we will be starting in the next class, and we will be completing this particular chapter. So till then, if you have any problem, I hope you do not have any problem, because this chapter is lengthy but it is very easy. You can write answers of your own, but you need to make sure that the answers, meaning of the answers do not get changed. Okay, otherwise you can write the answers of your own, but certain things you need to learn as well. So I know this chapter is bit lengthy, but it is very interesting and very easy. So go through the previous video lecture, this video lecture as well. If you have any problem, any query, please let me know. In the next class we will be completing this chapter. So take care of yourself, take care of your family. We will be meeting in the next class. Till then, bye. Thank you.